I don't know who this is. Okay, it's Akihiko. In order to search for the Inaba persona users, Mitsuru and I searched the building for an exit to the tower. But the interior of the building has been warped into a complex maze. I don't think we'll get out of it that easy.
I'm detecting a set of stairs just up ahead. Would you please try going down a floor?
Got it. Let us know if anything else comes up.
This maze is rather troublesome. We must hurry on.
Mitsuru-san mutters to herself after she and Fuka end their conversation, and her voice sounds tenser than usual. It looks like there's something on her mind, so I decide to talk to her.
Are you still upset at how you and his friends got caught up in this?
I am, but what truly bothers me is how I cannot get a full grasp on the Sho Minazuki character, who has been behind everything.
Are we sure he's a persona user? When he fought against Labras, he didn't use a persona.
In addition to that, the one who called himself the person behind Labras' disappearance said that he had no persona. Granted, that could have been an act to confuse us, but that still seems like a very unclear way of doing things. It's hard to believe that what he said was just an act.
When I spoke directly with Minazuki, I saw his persona myself. This matches with what Narukami and his friends attested.
Could he have an accomplice?
An accomplice? Akihiko, this is only a hypothesis, but what if there were two Minazukis to begin with?
I find it interesting that the Persona 3 storyline never even acknowledges Adachi's existence.
Two? You mean the one who called himself Sho and the one who called himself Minazuki are two different people?
No. His personalities changed before our very eyes. There's no doubt that they're the same body. But what if this isn't a case of multiple identity disorder? What if the two truly are completely separate personalities existing in the same body?
Multiple identity disorder is two separate personalities existing in the same body. I get what you're trying to say, but that translation did not actually mean what you thought it did.
Separate? What do you mean?
Mitsuru-senpai! I'm detecting a shadow just up ahead of you.
We immediately stop talking about the boy when Fuka's voice reaches us. There's only one door ahead of us, at the end of the hallway. And I don't see a way around whatever's in our path.
It'd be too much trouble to try to head back. Let's break through here, Mitsuru.
It seems there's no other way. The situation is growing more and more dire by the moment. We must deal with this as quickly as possible.
We're running out of people to run into. We rush to the door and charge inside. On the other side is a normal classroom. Well, normal if you ignore the bizarre decorations all over, with a blackboard, lectern, and rows of desks. The ace detective of Inaba is waiting for us here.
It's been a while. You two seem to have made it out of your predicament. How does it feel to have been rounded up like that?
This Naoto is a fake. There's no reason to doubt it. But it's well made. It would be hard to tell the difference unless you had shadow detecting abilities like Fuka. If the enemy's goal wasn't to carve off pieces of our personas in battle, these accurate doubles could easily have been used as a weapon against us.
Enough idle conversation. Let's get this over with. We don't have a lot of time.
Wait, Akihiko.
As I get impatient to go into battle, Mitsuru's voice stops me. True. I guess we should listen to the fake's dying words. We may be able to gain some clues
There's
after all.
something I want you to tell me before I slay you.
What is it? You can ask, but it doesn't mean I'll answer.
Who created you fake people? Who is Minazuki?
That's an odd thing to ask. Didn't you meet him yourself only a few moments ago? You should ask him yourself. And again, you won't be getting that chance as you'll never leave here.
Yeah, definitely Mitsuru. I haven't used her in at least this side of things. I don't think I even used her in the other game at all, did I? Maybe for one fight. The other game being the Persona 4 side of the storyline.
Finally!
I gotta be supporting you. Second one.
I'm coming for you!
All up.
Ow. Well,
Was in doubt.
that was a surprising one shot.
That was enjoyable. Please sit back and enjoy the spectacle of extinction. Well,
I wonder if the fake people can even feel pain. With an irritating jeer, the fake Naoto begins to crumble. The red pillar disappears well, and a set of stairs leading downward appears inside the classroom.
Mitsuru-senpai! Akihiko-senpai! Are you alright?
Yeah, no problems on our end. The shadow disappeared before we could get any information out of it, though.
We can't waste any time. Let's keep moving while we talk.
Okay. Please head down those stairs then. That should get you out of the tower.
We follow Fuga's directions and head for the exit. Along the way, I decide to pick up our discussion about Show's true character.
Mitsuru, back to what we were talking about earlier. It looked like Sho changed right in front of us. He switched personalities. What makes you think that it's not the ordinary form of split personality?
Do you recall the conversation in the limo about Ikutsuki's personal experiments? I said there was an indication that a plume of dusk was used.
Okay, that slightly makes more sense. Because I was going to say, it acts exactly like normal multiple
The
personality.
human experimentation we were talking about? That's definitely something a guy like Ikutsuki would have come up with.
What if Ikutsuki's experiments on Minazuki involved transplanting a plume of dusk into a living person?
What? Why would he do something like that?
Considering that it could have been part of Ergo Research's attempts to create artificial persona users, it makes sense. It's most likely that Ikutsuki implanted a plume of dusk into Minazuki in order to intentionally try to force a persona to appear. But Sho Minazuki didn't awaken to the persona ability. That much can be gathered from the fact that Ikutsuki labeled the experiment a failure.
That pastor performed terrible experiments on young children, all for his own gain. And he called this a failure? Ikutsuki put something strange inside a living person, and simply wrote off what he did as a failure. That only proves how insane he'd been.
Contrary to Ikutsuki's expectations, though, the experiment had a different result.
What? Don't tell me.
If a plume of dusk was implanted into the body of a person who already had a personality, what would happen?
A plume of dusk stimulates the creation of an ego. So it's not out of the question that it would create a new personality in the same body.
In other words, it wasn't a split personality in Sho's mind. It was two completely different entities in the same body? The original Sho and the personality that was created when the plume of dust was put inside him, but now calls itself just Minazuki?
According to the records, after the operation, Minazuki entered a vegetative state after some time. Thus, Ikutsuki let go of Minazuki. He was then transported to a hospital in the suburbs of Inaba, and there are no records of Minazuki from there on. What happened from that point on, I can only speculate. But I wonder what sort of life Minazuki led after he regained consciousness.
Mitsuru's expression softens. Even if Minazuki was created by Ikutsuki, this is just the last way the Ikutsuki's ghost still haunts us. Ikutsuki's research only followed similar experimentations created by the Kirijo group. If Sho's past life is as Mitsuru describes, then he's yet another victim of the Kirijo group, not just an enemy to be defeated. Not long after we pass through the main entranceway, we see a path leading to the school's main gates, which are painted in a strange pattern. Beyond that, nothing but red fog. There's no telling what town the state is right now. What state the town is, not what town the state is.
Labra said that she wanted to speak with Minazuki. And now, so do I.
We'd better rescue Yukiko's group and get back here then.
Indeed. Let us accomplish our duties with haste.
There's no point in denying that Kirijo is partly responsible for this series of cases. That truth won't change, and it's obvious that this was weighing heavily on Mitsuru's shoulders, since she's the head of the Kirijo group now. That's why I believe I truly understand how Mitsuru felt when she made the choice to step up back from the front lines earlier and trust in her comrades. That's how it should be. Our teammates are all reliable people who will follow our lead.
Fuka, what's Yukiko's position?
I sense something southeast of there. Please be careful.
As Fuka's communication cuts out, the school building behind us makes a groaning sound. It's so loud, I get the feeling that there isn't a lot of time left. Mitsuru and I nod to each other before we begin running towards the town. Really? To be continued here? I figured we'd go through the whole thing. Yeah, what? Just keep going. Oh, okay. Kitty. No meow meow. Huh. I kind of want to do these in one big group. You know what? I'm gonna finish this. I expected to finish anyway. We run at top speed. Oh wait, I think this is Mitsuru. We just run at top speed through the fog enveloping the town of Inaba. Not a single soul can be found outside. The sight reminds me of nothing more than the dark hour. Akihiko must feel the same way as he runs beside me.
Mitsuru, how are Aigis and Teddy doing? They must have gotten out into the town by now.
That's the second time he said Teddy. I think that's not actually a typo. If I remember right, whenever Akihiko met Teddy said something about how he's, he said Teddy, and I think Akihiko just calls him that. I'm sorry, game designers. I made fun of you for no reason.
You're right. Let me search for them.
I concentrate and search the area for any readings. My search ability only has a limited range. To make matters worse, the images that appear in my mind have severe interferences, likely caused by the strange fog. The fog seems to be symbolic of Minazuchi's solitude, as if trying to sever our connections to one another.
I found them in the town shopping district. We'll be able to catch up with them quickly.
Alright, let's hurry to join up with them. Then we can compare notes.
Fortunately, Aigis and Teddy appear to be very close by. We hurry towards the readings in an effort to meet up with the others.
Ow! My back still hurts. Getting old sucks.
Do you age, Teddy? I don't.
Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering why they stopped there instead of going straight through, but yeah, because I could have gone the other way, and I would have had to finish their section so this scene would make sense.
Oh, and by the way, there's something I've been meaning to ask you, Ai-chan. Is there anyone you like?
Ai-chan likes everyone.
What do you mean?
Come on, you can't fool me. If you don't have anyone, then you and me should...
Aigis, Teddy.
Michan! Aki!
Aki.
Akihiko-san! Mitsuru-san! Thank goodness you're both safe.
Whoa, what happened? You're both beaten.
I was careless. We were ambushed by an enemy and suffered severe damage.
If they're acting brave, it's obvious at a glance that they and Aigis have been severely injured. It's clear that they won't be able to fight properly for a while.
Is someone... Please respond...
Rise-chan! I hear you! Talk to your lover bear!
Teddy?
Is that you, Kujikawa? We can hear you.
That voice! Mitsuru-san? Thank goodness! I heard you were captured!
Yes, but we're fine now. I'm sorry to have worried you. Where are you right now?
Yukiko-senpai and I went out to look for Kanji and the others, but the town's turned into a maze. I lost track of them while we were getting our bearings. We're thinking about heading back to Junes right now.
All right, keep going to Junes. We'll head over too, so we'll meet you there. Tatsumi and Shirogane should have arrived already.
Understood. Please be careful.
Alright.
Well, I thought there was an emergency, that's why she's contacting us.
Aigis, Teddy. Can you go on?
Leave it to me to guide you to Junes. I'll use my nose and...
Teddy appears to have sensed something. He turns and looks at a shape that appeared further down the shopping district. After all this just happened, do they still intend to make us fight? No. From here on, they're doing this just to buy time. The shape ahead draws closer, and I see it's a double of Satonaka. There's no need to wonder about whether or not this is the real one or not.
Oh, lied and ran away? What happened to all that fun stuff? Oh, maybe they just don't need you anymore. I guess you're the runs of the litter.
A fake Chie-chan! Bears have packs, not litters, and we're not runts!
It's fine, Teddy. Let it say whatever it wants.
I stop Teddy as he tries to lash out in response to the fake Satonaka. It's true that we made a mistake in being captured by the enemy before this started, but
I've
still.
made some errors this time, but we have our comrades. Even if one of us was to fall, the rest of us can complement each other. My standing here right now is a result of the trust we have for one another. I will carry out my duty, and you will be stopped.
With my thoughts for my comrades, who I had left at the top of the tower at the forefront of my mind, I grab hold of the hilt of my rapier. No matter what taunts these shadows have for me, my heart will not be shaken. My comrades have my back. All I have to do is keep proceeding onward.
No. We will protect this world. We will not lose to the likes of you.
We're the most powerful lineup ever! We'll prove that we've got the upper claw here!
The two of them are so hurt that I'm surprised they can even move. But the fires in their eyes are stronger than ever. I sense their will to fight shining through. I will accept that resolve for now. I will take on this burden in their stead. Next to me, Akihiko slams his fist into the palm of his other hand and steps in front of Igus and Teddy.
I was hoping for a chance to fight about now. Felt myself getting rusty. The rest of you can sit back and watch.
This tournament is foolish, but I was given one of your insipid names. It's time I show you the power of the Execution Queen.
Akihiko, because I just fought with Mitsuru. Chie, I'm really sorry about this. You know you're my fate.
Finally!
Don't get too carried away.
You're up.
Come on, let me out. That was a really good start. I'm rather proud of that combo I sort of made up.
Finally!
Don't get too carried away.
Here we go. You're up.
No need to hold back any longer.
Not bad. Not bad.
All right, we're starting to release.
Dang, I never got the combo again. I'll have to pay attention to that replay to forget the exact timing of it. Because every time she had to flit it out of it. I'd have to say that was the first time I fought today that I really felt good. I don't need to turn back to look at the melting shadow anymore. Rely on Teddy's nose and run with a full speed towards the red fog, towards Junus. Everything's great at your Junus. We eventually see the large store that I had been in while we were exited the TV world. This building must normally be quite lively with customers, but now it looms with an eerie silence within the dim
Our
red fog.
rendezvous point is on this building's rooftop. Everyone remain in contact while searching for Kujikawa and the rest. Stay alert.
Every day's great at your June-ness. Hello?
The monitor on the side of the road flickers, and that General Teddy suddenly appears on the screen.
What the? You again, you phony bear! What do you want now? Thanks for coming all the way out to such a remote place. Did you enjoy the P1 climax? There were so many touching battles this time, but too bad for you. Unfortunately, you've all served your purposes already.
What do you mean by that?
Just what I said. When you fought, you released fragments of your personas, and I've gathered more than enough of them. Thus, there's no reason to keep you persona users alive any longer. Prepare to be swallowed by a surge of shadows!
Once General Teddy finishes, the motor shuts off and silence fills the area once again.
What is the shaking?
With a thundering roar, a vicious black liquid geysers up from everywhere. This black wave surrounds us, whirling madly, and begins to close in.
What the?
There are so many shadows. They're going to attack. Please, be careful.
Cheeky bastards. Come! Persona!
Akihiko's persona, Caesar, swings its sword towards the approaching black wave. The mass of shadows retreats for a moment, like a receding tide, then immediately surges towards us like a tidal wave.
Artemisia!
Persona!
Initiating summon sequence. Athena.
We summon our personas one after another, and have no choice but to fight back. If things are bad outside, I have to worry about Kujikawa and the others who are on the rooftop. We must get inside as soon as possible to meet up with them. But the horde of shadows pours forth without stopping, giving us no respite. Even the entrance to Junis has been completely covered by the black mass. If this becomes a drawn-out battle, then obviously we'll be at a disadvantage. I feel a sense of listlessness. After beginning on being on the cross, I'm severely exhausted. Even Aigus and Akihiko are moving less nimbly than usual. Teddy fights on as if trying to protect the three of us, but he is injured as well. He won't last forever.
If this keeps up.
Rise-chan, Yuki-chan, Ao-chan, I'll be right there.
More shadows incoming. They're not stopping.
Where was he hiding this many shadows?
My vision begins to darken, as if layers of gauze are being wrapped around my eyes, and I feel even more tired than ever. Though each shadow may be inconsequential on its own, their sheer numbers are too much to contend with. My arms drop to my sides. I can't lift them
Mitsuru!
anymore.
Hey, hang in there!
Mid-chan! Watch out!
Mitsuru-san!
Come on, can't you pull it together? I really don't want to get involved here, you know?
Yes, I was wondering if he would ever show up in the storyline. My new hero. What the? As the sound echoes out, my vision returns, and I see a shape moving towards us, mowing down the horde of shadows. Was that just a persona attack? The shadows that had been overwhelming us retreat, and a path opens to the Junis entrance.
Oh man, you guys look terrible. That's what you get for sticking your noses into places they don't belong.
The newcomer is a man who speaks languidly, while scratching at the back of his neck. That persona attack must have come from him. He looks familiar. The serial murder case that took place in Inaba last year. I'm trying to remember the name of the former detective who had been arrested as a suspect.
Toru Adachi?
What? I thought Adachi was in police custody.
Wow, I'm famous now. You're Mitsuru Kirijo, right? I guess the rest of these people are your subordinates?
What's Adachi baby doing here? Wait, you must be a fake too!
I've got to say, there have been a few places where the plot kind of diverged And for the most part, I'm okay with that. You know, it's obviously just a different telling of a story from a different perspective. So certain events don't need to necessarily be retold. But now Adachi is actually in two completely different parts of the storyline at the same time. Because he's about to save Hugh, you know, up on the rooftop. And now he's here?
Huh? You too? A fake? Yeah, that's it. I'm a fake.
Everything about his response radiates insincerity. He seems to be an intelligent but shrewd man. But for right now, it doesn't matter if this man is a fake or not. What matters is why such a person would go out of his way to help us.
Why did you save us?
It wasn't just for you. If you died here, it'd be trouble for me. I have to obey the rules.
Rules?
Never mind, I'm just rambling. Still, isn't this an impressive number of shadows? I bet you'd really be able to get up to something fun with this many. Like, oh, say summoning up a god or something?
Summoning a god? Is that what that show guy is doing?
Done. So this horde of shadows seems to have gathered by the other Minazuki after all. He intends to use them to awaken a godlike being. What he called his world is one where the being has descended. But will that result in the fall?
I'm
Utter
just
destruction.
guessing. And if this many shadows were to head over to that tower and start wrecking shit, that building wouldn't stand a chance, would it? Plus, anyone inside would be in for some real trouble, wouldn't they? Well, it's not like it matters to me. I'm gonna be on my way now. Good luck or whatever. Aren't the rest of your friends in here at Juness? You kids love crowding together after all. Don't you think you'll win with those numbers?
Hey, stop! Where do you think you're going?
Don't, Teddy. I know you want to go after him, but we're all exhausted right now. We need to prioritize meeting up with your friends.
Toru Adachi doesn't even look back as Teddy and begins walking at a leisurely pace in the direction of Yasagami Eye. We quickly lose sight of him as he becomes lost in the muddy stream of shadows.
Toru Adachi. At the very least, he didn't seem to be a fake made from a shadow.
Is he scheming something after all?
No matter what his aims were, it's true that we were saved in the end.
Save thinking about it for later. We need to hurry.
We run along the path to Juness's entrance that has been created for us by Adachi's strike, and rush into the store and up the stairs. The gushing shadows had entered the building as well, but they are far fewer in number as they had been outside, and aren't much of a hindrance. Eventually the stairs end and we see a door that opens to the rooftop food court. In the food court beyond, a horde of shadows had regained its intensity and continued flooding in, one after another. 4 Persona users from Inaba are fighting them. Even though they are experienced, fierce fighters and have survived many tough situations, it seems they're having a hard time fighting against the sheer volume of these shadows.
Damn it! Getting more intense again! There's no end to this!
You can't give up. Mitsuru-san and her people should arrive soon.
Right. We can't lose somewhere like this.
Rise-chan, Nao-chan, Yuki-chan! I'm so glad you're all okay! I'm coming over right now!
Hey, what about Kanji?
Teddy! And Mitsuru-san too!
Teddy should have been considerably exhausted and injured, but seeing the faces of his friends, he must have given him strength. He darts towards his friend as fast as his little legs can carry him, and joins their battle line. I do have one question, though. I'm not really sure why the sheer number of shadows is that much of a threat. All of them should have things like Marajaga or something that can hit the entire freaking area. So if all of them just use their Ashidine or Bufudine or whatever equivalent, shouldn't like all the shadows just be dead, or the vast majority of them? I realize I'm taking game physics and applying it to a, dramatic situation, but they're united by a strong bond as well. We can't fall behind either.
Hey! You intentionally left me out, didn't you?
You're loud as always. You still have a lot of energy left. You don't go down easy, but I see you're barely hanging on.
Don't underestimate me. Half your stuffing's hanging out anyway, so you don't get to say anything.
Sorry we're late. You did well in keeping him at bay. We'll join in the fight.
With a sense of relief at seeing everyone who'd been unable to locate, we quickly tell them our situation and check their conditions. It's clear that all of them were tired and injured, but now that our numbers have doubled, we should be able to make up for that by cooperating with each other. As it turns out, we are slowly but surely able to push out back the seemingly endless torrent of shadows.
We can do this! There's enough of us here now that I'm sure we can win!
It's too early to be relieved yet. The shadows all over town are converging on that tower. At this rate, our senpai in there will be...
Shirogane is right. If we are held up here, we won't be able to aid those who have headed up to the tower. If the shadows are gathering with the intent to climb that tower, then we have to take the chance of returning to the tower ourselves to intercept them.
Considering the sheer number of shadows, that would be too dangerous.
Mitsuru-san, Ken-kun has given me the details. This case has many similarities with Shuji Yakutsuki's plan. I believe the culprit has the same intent. And considering the current situation with these hordes of shadows, the time is nigh.
Sho Minazuki, who called Shuji Yakutsuki his father, and the words Totoro Adachi left us with. We have all the circumstantial evidence. And this time, Naoto speaks of is nothing less than the end of the world.
Do we have no choice but to entrust this to the others here? Isn't there something we can do, Mitsuru-san? This isn't the time to argue, Mitsuru-san. We have to go.
What's there to worry about, Mitsuru? There's only one option here.
Everyone wants to return to the tower, completely disregarding their own safety. Not a single one of us is afraid to volunteer, even in this desperate situation. In addition, we've been forestalled again and again since this started. It seems that my position as the leader of the Shadow Operatives has put me on the defensive without my noticing it. We have to go on the offensive now, that we have the strength to do so.
Listen up. The shadows are likely gathering at that tower. Their goal is likely to bring about the coming of a god with the power to destroy the world. We must stop this at all costs. Fujikawa, will you lend me your strength? We'll combine our communication abilities to contact Yamagishi. They need to be told of the danger.
The first step is to make contact. I task the other 6 with making sure that the area is secure, and then take Fujikawa's hand. We both feel familiar tension, distinct from what we feel in battle, as we focus our thoughts to concentrate on that tower. Though the situation is truly chaotic, and the end of the world is drawing near, the vision that appears in my mind is surprisingly clear. To think that Fujikawa's communication ability is this powerful is equal to Yamagishi's. I've also been told that it's evolved to the point where she can participate in combat now. When were you? I don't know yet when we share horror stories. These persona users Inaba have great potential hidden within them. That's right. They have the obligation to protect this town. Their future.
Fuka-san is somewhere around the middle of the tower?
Hold on, Fujikawa. There's something in the sky.
There's a reading of something approaching at high speed from the fog-filled sky. Eventually, a rhythmic sound of a helicopter reaches our ears. A large helicopter with Kuijo-kun's marking approaches us. Out of the fog, the pilot must be.
That's you there, isn't it, Kikuno? Respond at once!
Lady Mitsuru! Thank goodness you're safe.
What are you doing there? This airspace is dangerous. You must withdraw at once to a safer area.
You're all putting your lives at stake by fighting. I refuse to shame myself by withdrawing.
I only smile at the way Kikuno refuses my direct order. She wouldn't hesitate to risk herself for my sake. That's never changed at all.
There's something I must tell you at once. We've decoded more of the records from Shuji Yakutsuki that I gave to Laverson. We've reached a point where there is a description that seems to be hinting at the security code. If we can solve it, we may be able to fully unlock it. The clues to the password are my true form that I should take, and the one written of in the prophecy.
Okay, a true form that I should take and the ones written of in the prophecy. No idea what that means.
Prophecy and true form? Could this be about what happened back then?
Mitsuru, you have to remember. That insanity Yakutsuki was a slave to. Remember the speech he gave us?
Not clearly. It's been years since I played that bloody thing. I can never forget that night 3 years ago. The night we were cast into the depths of despair. Yakutsuki looked down on us with insanity in his eyes and told us of his own ambitions.
He said he would become a king in the new world. With that in mind, what he strived to become, his self-professed true form.
The new world that Shuji Yakutsuki strove for. The true form that he wanted this world to assume, where everyone besides himself had been changed into a shadow. There's no mistake. Those words symbolize the distorted ambitions that Ikutsuki had become obsessed with, and what he truly believed he would become.
That's it! The password was accepted, and the file's been unlocked. I'm opening the file now.
There's no time to wait for an analysis. Fujikawa, let's try again. We need to get this information to Labras through Yamagishi.
We direct our search in the direction of the tower once more, and detect Yamagishi. Near her are a number of other readings that appear to be in combat. They are Narukami, Satonaka, and Hanamura. It seems they are all fighting valiantly to protect Yamagishi. Though they had been injured, I sigh in relief sensing that they made a recovery. We immediately opened communications with Yamagishi and relayed the situation. According to Yamagishi, a sudden swarm of shadows began pouring into the tower as well. We then passed our own conclusions, the reason for the horde of shadows and the information on the password. Even Yamagishi seems lost for word in hearing this, but she quickly recovers herself.
So that's why all these shadows have been flooding in. We'll stop them here as well. I'll tell Labras about that password at once. Please be careful, Mitsuru-senpai.
Everyone looks towards me once the communication ends. They're waiting for a word from me, such impatience, but don't worry.
We will now head to the tower to aid those who are still in there. We'll have to force our way in.
No, you won't. You have a helicopter.
We will combine the strength of our personas and fight our way through.
As they say, that's what I'm talking about.
This is starting to get interesting. I'm getting pumped up.
All right. If that's the plan, then it's time to bust out all our skills. Better not fall behind, Ted.
I'm getting fired up! Wait for us, Sensei! Wait for me, Labby-chan! There's no need to fear with my tremendous strength!
Right. Labras and Chie are fighting too, so I can't just stay here.
The moment we were about to step towards the tower, I noticed the black silhouette of the vehicle lowering its altitude, close enough to raise the horde of shadows.
You need to leave Inaba and stand by until we contact you again.
No, milady. This helicopter is loaded with 2 7.62mm Gatling guns, 19 continuous rounds of 70mm rocket ammunition, as well as a 30mm chain gun. Though these cannot damage shadows, they will be useful in preventing their advancement and providing me with some measure of backup.
Don't be ridiculous. It's too dangerous.
Labras-san asked me why someone who couldn't use a persona would risk their life to go to a place where shadows appear. No matter how slight it may be, I can still provide some assistance to you all. I have been prepared to risk my life from the start. My lady, I have my own battles to fight.
Why don't you just fly over to the tower?
Hikuno-san.
Mitsuru, you're gonna repeat the same mistake.
Right. It doesn't matter how strong or weak you are. I've pushed Narukami and his friends away before, and now I'm doing the same to Kikuno. Kikuno, I accept your determination. Aid us from the helicopter. We must reach that tower at all costs.
Understood. I will see you there safely, even if it costs me my life. Let us depart.
Kikuno's helicopter rotates in place to face the direction we will be proceeding in. With a tremendous concussion of rain of bullets, showers down the massive shadows, splashing bits of blackness every which way. The wave that had been completely covering the road loses intensity and begins to retreat.
Now!
Right!
All right!
Come! Persona!
Go! Persona!
Here goes!
Onward to glory. A line of sparkling light runs into the wave of shadow, made by a roaring sound. We can do this. We nod to each other and leap one after another into the newly opened path. We must head to that tower where our comrades are fighting, so we can carry on. No, so we can all carry out our duties. It's exciting!